Following this breaking news on SportsCenter, Kyrie Irving is eligible to play when the Nets face the Magic on Saturday after being fined $50,000 for violating the NBA's health and safety protocols. He was apparently ordered to take part in a 5-day quarantine earlier this week. Sources telling Adrian Wojnarowski that he's allowed to return to the team and their activities on Saturday if he continues to test negative for COVID. New on SportsCenter, here's head coach Steve Nash on Kyrie's status.
Whenever James is ready, he will start immediately. I have no update on Kyrie timetable, so I couldn't answer that one. But we have to go through all the protocols and physicals and all the different sections of this. First of all, we have the physicals on the one side, and then we have the COVID protocols. So I don't have an update on Kai, but whenever they're both healthy and ready to go, they will start.
So you haven't seen the league's update on Kyrie Irving that he will be eligible to end his quarantine and rejoin the team activities tomorrow?
I have seen that, but I'm just saying I don't have an update on when he'll be back. So.
Got it. Thank you.
Our Malika Andrews posing questions to Steve Nash. Speaking of James Harden, we're still waiting for him to speak to the media for the first time since joining the Nets. We will bring you his first comments shortly as soon as he sits down.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Meanwhile, should mention Pepperdine. This is their first game since December 23rd. Might be a bit rusty.
Really?
And then you get Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Who are a powerhouse.
Yes.
They win 95-70, their 40th straight win versus Pepperdine. All right, so can anyone stop Gonzaga?
No.
Really? Yeah, that's the answer. It's actually the answer, but we're going to stick with the take. The Zags have scored at least 85 points in all 13 of their games so far this season. The last team to start a season like that, the 90-91 Loyola Marymount team, which did it in their first 14. Now, the Bulldogs are dominating the West Coast Conference as per usual, but earlier this year they loaded up on tough opponents and beat them all. In fact, they're the only team ever to beat 4 top 20 teams within their first 7 games of the season. ESPN's Basketball Power Index giving Gonzaga a 28% chance to win out. That is the highest figure in the nation. If the Zags can do it, they would be the first Division I team to finish the regular season undefeated since the 2014-2015 Kentucky squad. All right, these two matchups start another stellar college basketball Saturday. 6 games on ESPN and the app. North Carolina, Florida State. And then we got Kentucky and Auburn. The Tigers have won 2 of their last 3 against the Wildcats.
Nabil, James Harden wanted out of Houston. He wanted to go to Brooklyn to play with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Well, he got what he wanted this week. Harden, part of a massive 4-team deal, leaving the Western Conference and coming east. The Nets introducing their newest player today, who brings with him a pretty decent resume. His coach has a pretty decent resume, too. Steve Nash talking about his guy. New on SportsCenter.
We're excited. We obviously got one of the premier players in the world, so it's always tough to say goodbye to guys that you develop a relationship with, you feel strongly about. But going forward, we got very, very unique talent, incredible firepower. You could go down the line and talk about all the things he does with the basketball and brings to a team. So we're thrilled to have James and give our team a boost, but also obviously give us a lot more talent.
So 3 stars, but there's only 1 basketball. So just how will Harden, Durant, and Irving share the ball at the end of games? Nets fans should be happy knowing that they have 3 very dependable options. Over the last 10 seasons, all 3 of them rank in the top 4 of usage rate in clutch time.
Going a touchdown on their first 2 possessions.
It's Kansas City close, much more likely. And by the way, you can score in 60 seconds and it can take the other team 6 minutes. But in the end, if you're both scoring touchdowns, what difference does it make? Browns just put 48 up on the Steelers defense. And by the way, in recent games, they had a very tough and close loss to Baltimore, and they beat the Titans. Now, they have quality wins, and they're capable of putting up points when they need to. Here's the other thing about the Chiefs. They beat teams by under a touchdown. Every team except the Jets or the Chargers. You think they're going to blow out the Browns the way they're playing? They'll win. It's going to be tough.
I see ultimately Kansas City pulling away because Patrick Mahomes and those boys come out flinging it all over the place against a suspect defense in Cleveland, meaning a suspect secondary. But I just see it being one of those things where potentially, they can run away with it. If I had to pick between the 2, I'm going to say it's Kansas City running away in the second half.
Can it just be Saturday already? Come on. 4 huge divisional matchups in the NFL. We've got you covered from every location, starting with South Antonio in New Orleans.
Brady versus Breeze has grabbed all the attention in this game, but the real story is Brady against the Saints defense. Losing twice to the Saints this year by 46 points combined, Brady has constantly been under pressure. A matter of fact, in the 2 games, Brady was under pressure 36% of the time. That's more than twice he was under pressure in all other games this season. Bruce Arians, the head coach of the Bucs, his message to the team at the beginning of the week is very simple. We got to do a much better job blocking them. A much better job.
Aaron Rodgers spoke this week about how much more confident the Packers are than they were in last year's playoffs. Green Bay had the league's most efficient offense in Matt LaFleur's second season as head coach, and Rodgers is almost certain to be the league's MVP. LaFleur told me Rodgers understands everything to a higher level just because he's had more reps, and he said his ability, when he sees something out there, to get us out of a bad look and into a good play is second to none. Rodgers has to beat the Rams and their top-ranked defense to get to his 5th NFC Championship game as he continues his pursuit of that elusive second Super Bowl.
Get ready to see a completely different Bills offense this time around against the Ravens compared to what you saw in 2019. This, according to left tackle Deion Dawkins. He told me last year, they didn't have their superstar weapon, that being Stephon Diggs. But of course, this Ravens defense, they are well aware what Diggs can do. Marlon Humphrey is expected to match up against him in man-to-man coverage. The big story, though, is it could possibly snow in Buffalo on Saturday night. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson admitting he's never played in the snow, and he certainly doesn't want his first experience being this weekend in the divisional round.
As if the defending Super Bowl champs weren't scary enough, Patrick Mahomes says that he feels more prepared this year to handle a bye heading into the division round than he did a season ago. Now, if you recall, the Chiefs went down 21-0 against the Texans last year before storming back. Mahomes says that he's practiced far more during the bye week, focusing on things like fundamentals and footwork to make sure they avoid a slow start. Now, the Chiefs don't feel complacent at all, which is probably good news for a Kansas City team that won their last 6 regular season games by only 1 possession.
Now, as for betting lines, Caesars William Hill currently has Green Bay as 6.5-point favorites over Los Angeles. Buffalo by 2.5 over Baltimore. Weather, again, being an interesting wrinkle there. Kansas City by 10 over Cleveland. And New Orleans by 3 over Tampa Bay. Going back to Kansas City for a second, though, they